G'day everyone and welcome to Reliance Australia. I'm Brett and welcome back to the first video for 2024. Now look, it has been a bit of a slow start to the videos and on the channel this year. And look, I have been thinking about whether I talk about this or not, but I thought I would anyway because it has been a slow start and people are probably starting to wonder where the videos are going to start happening. So just before Christmas, and I say only a couple of days before I did my Christmas video, and I started talking about it on my Christmas video but decided to cut it out, mostly because I just wasn't well. But look, I just went in for a standard day procedure the week before Christmas, only to find myself back in the emergency department about 7 hours later, and I just bled out essentially. So I actually, luckily, we did make it back to emergency, and I actually fell unconscious in the emergency department waiting room. So thankfully I was very close to expert help, but I was unresponsive for quite some time, lost a lot of blood, and they ended up putting a couple of bags of blood, so a couple of units of blood back into me. Had to give me adrenaline to keep the heart ticking. So I didn't officially die, but I wasn't too far away from it. So I spent a few days in hospital, and obviously had to take a lot of time to recover, because they had to obviously put some clamps inside me to stop the bleeding. So there's a lot of stuff that I could not do. And over the Christmas break is generally one of those times that instead of having a break and having a holiday, I like to do jobs around the house. So I didn't get to do anything actually, or very, very little. And as a result of that, even the grass got extremely long because I wasn't allowed to come out and mow the grass. And as you can see, I've got the sheep up the top paddock there helping me. But where I'm sitting now, that's look, I can have 5 to 6 hours worth of mowing. But when I eventually did get back on the mower, the first mow I think took me over 8 hours. So that's how long the grass had got. So I was going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. So for quite a while, so at least like a minimum of 4 weeks, I was just doing nothing, and then after that I've just been in recovery of trying to get the grass back down to a safe length. But look, I was able to do a few little jobs, and when I talk little jobs, I am actually talking about little jobs. So today's video is actually one of those, so fixing a tap washer. And I actually put this video together, and I do talk about it in the video because when I pulled the tap out to replace the washer, it didn't come out the way that it would normally come out, and I was there going, gee, YouTube normally helps me with this. And I couldn't find anything to show me what the components of that tap unit was, so I thought I'd actually do a video around that. So this is only a short video. There also got to paint a wall in one of the rooms as well, so nothing outlandish. I actually didn't even take a video of that. I think I've probably got a couple of photos. I might add them in as well, but you've seen me paint, I'll get it right, paint plenty of walls over the years on the channel. So there's another one of those in my daughter's bedroom. And just a few little jobs around the house because that's really all I could do. But thankfully I'm on the mend. I had an appointment last week and all my results have come back really good, so well and truly on the road to recovery. And having said that, there's now a lot of jobs building up that I now need to get to. But having said that, one of the things that is working reasonably well, just over to my left is a compost pile. So if we can capture that, you can see it about there. That's actually working pretty well. It's an easy walk straight from the side of the house out the front door over to the pile, throw it in there and just turn it over every couple of weeks. Keeping up the brown matter to it is interesting because I'm actually using leaves. I'm actually thinking about putting some dirt in there as well, just to try and give it some bulk so it can go into the garden nicely. So things like that are actually coming along reasonably well. Well, I'd just like to say thank you, welcome to the new year. If you do like the channel and watch the videos, please give us a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, really we do appreciate that. It does help the channel to grow. And thank you for all the comments too. People have been still commenting over the holiday break, and hopefully I'll get back to everybody with those as well. So thank you for that, really do appreciate it. Anyway, let's get into the video.
So I've just taken this tap unit out of my shower. Now the last time I took it out, it came out essentially as a single unit just like that. And I replaced the washer that goes onto the end. Now the washer that has come out of that is this one that was a dome. It's supposed to be a soft turn off. But look, it didn't last very long at all. But what happened this time when I tried to take the tap out to replace the washer is that this front part came off and left this part in the wall. Now once I'd taken this part out, which I thought was actually when you see that, and you see that, I actually thought that this piece here was actually the tip of my washer. But when I pull it out, woohoo, not my washer. And what was left was this was stuck inside there, if you can see that, and I couldn't pull it out. So they're going, well, that piece must come out, but it looked so far into the wall. So look, there's probably only about, if I can show that, not very well. This will be better. About this much of it was poking out of the wall. The rest of it's actually in behind the tiles. So I was a bit worried that if I took that out, I would be breaking something. And I've tried to Google it or YouTube it to find out, what parts are what. Couldn't really find anything quickly, so that's why I'm making this video, just to show the parts that are there and what can come out and what doesn't come out. So now to put this back together, I will put this part back in, or that part back in first. Actually, no, I won't. I'll put this all back together first. Put this up nice and tight. Put my, whatever this is, to go into the back. Put my washer on. Then I'll put it back into a wall, all as one unit. I was hoping that I would have a bit more of a thread actually poking out through the wall, but when I've done this wall, they've gone right up and above, I guess what they'd call a valve assembly. I'm not too sure what they'd call that, but the actual tap itself, or that part that the tap unit screws into, yeah, there's not much room for error in that. But anyway, it is what it is, and I'm not too sure if that's how they would normally do it. I know the room I built out the back, I didn't do it that way. I actually gave myself a lot more room to move around. Well, maybe not a lot more room, but more than what's there. But that's how it is. Well, that's it back in the wall. So one big unit. I did actually put that back bit on, actually I put it in together, and what I found was that back bit wasn't tightening up as much as I would have hoped. So I took this front piece off, put the socket back on, tightened it up. For those that are interested, that was a 1 1/8 inch socket. So somewhere between, it's about 28.5 mil or something like that. But 1 1/8 fitted that nicely. And then once that was nice and firm, then I put this one back in and tightened it up. I found that even though I had the two pieces together firm, I couldn't quite tighten that back bit up just by tightening this bit up, because I was just squishing this washer up too much.
So there you go, another job is done. And like I said in the video, I really want to put that out there because when I was pulling that apart, I just wasn't sure about what I could and what I couldn't pull out of the wall. And this is probably one of the reasons why a plumber will say use a licensed plumber, because they know that stuff and they can fix a tap very easily and quickly without damaging your plumbing in your house. But anyway, I did the job and I'm happy that I did do it straightforward in the end. So I hope someone finds this video useful at some stage without having to do damage to your plumbing. And look, I am laughing a bit because I'm looking over to a tree over to my right there, and there's a koala up the tree scratching its butt. And it does remind me to be so grateful for what we have here. We're in a beautiful spot and we get to enjoy quite a large range of wildlife, as you've probably seen in one of my other videos that talked about thinking that I've bought a zoo, because we do have a lot of different wildlife that makes its way through the property on a regular basis. But you might have picked up as one of the downsides of doing this type of lifestyle of homesteading or having a property and trying to go off grid at some point in time is just not being close to facilities. And I guess the experience I went through we were like 3 hours away from the hospital. Like it's 2 hours, probably 2.5 hours when you're not having to stop all the time. But I did have to stop a lot on the way back down to the hospital because I was bleeding so much. Yeah, so that can be one of the downsides, but like we were fortunate, very lucky. I have to say I do feel very fortunate that I was able to make it through, because it was pretty touch and go there for a while. But it also just highlighted to me how fragile life can be. I was fit and healthy going in, felt fit and healthy coming out, and there's a couple of gangs flying around. Beautiful birds, as we talk about the wildlife. We've got gangs flying that way and then black cockies flying over that way. So rather unique actually. The gangs that you just heard then are endangered, so we're very fortunate to have endangered animals flying around. So what was I saying? I was talking about not being close to the hospitals, but look, it's one of the downsides, isn't it? So you have to sort of pick areas that have facilities depending on what your circumstances are. So I do feel lucky, but it has focused me back on what's important, and that is really spending some really quality time with family, because you never know when your time's up. So a bit of a somber note there, but look, I hope you have enjoyed the video, and until next time, thanks for watching.